Hey everyone, my name's Chris, and today I just want to talk to you about reusing and recurring trips, and how if you have a trip that you either are going to run multiple times, so that could be a swimming trip, for example, or if you have a trip that you run maybe every year or every few months, and you just want to reuse the previous trip data rather than having to start from scratch. So as you can see, I'm logged into the dashboard here. I'm going to show you a trip that's been set up to reoccur on a 2-weekly basis. So this sample trip here has been set up to reoccur. Now, as you can see, it's actually showing twice in this trip overview screen, but it's got different dates. So it's the same trip, but with different dates. The reason it's in there twice is so you can see all the occurrences of that trip rather than just the one single trip over as an overview. To set the trip reoccurrence up, you click into the trip and you click on the reoccurrence tab. Here you can set how the trip will reoccur. As you can see here, you can choose daily, weekly, or monthly. You can choose how often they repeat. So I've set it here to repeat every 2 weeks. You can choose specific days. If you don't choose a day, it will just repeat on the day it's already been booked for. And you can choose actually when that will repeat until. So this will repeat until the 27th of November 2020. And as I've saved this previously, you can see here that's generated 3 occurrences of this individual trip. Now, just to clarify on reoccurrences, what that means is when the trip gets authorized, you're only authorizing the single trip, but you're authorizing all occurrences of that trip. So that means if you are running a trip weekly or fortnightly, then you don't have to get it planned and authorized multiple times. You can do it once and authorize it for the whole term or for the whole year if needs be. The second thing to talk about is reusing trips. What we have in EduTrips is the concept of archive trips. At the end of a trip, you archive a trip. When you click into that archive, you can see all the trips that have run in your organization, in your school or college, and you can choose to reuse this trip. And what that does is it creates a new version of that trip, but actually copies across a lot of the data. So this data will include the trip plan, it will include the reason for the trip, it will include the budget details, and it will include a lot of information around that trip, so you're not having to enter it all from scratch, and it saves you a lot of time. After talking to a customer the other week, they mentioned how they use this process and it actually takes them 7 minutes to complete a trip from scratch when they're reusing, rather than having to plan everything from the beginning. If I click on reuse this trip, it will take me to the pre-trip agreement screen, and as you can see here, it's pre-populated a lot of the information from the trip. And obviously I would choose a new date and I would choose different times potentially, and it's put in the estimated price of the trip from previously. So as you can see, this is the way of reusing a trip. It pre-populates other forms inside the trip as well. I won't go through all these now, but it saves many hours on planning a trip by reusing a trip that you've traveled last year. Thank you very much. As I say, that was a really short video on just what reusing and reoccurring trips are inside EduTrips. If you have any questions, then please get in touch. You can reach us on edutrips.uk.com, or if you would like to try it out for yourself, visit the same website and sign up for a free trial. Thank you.